Alright guys, welcome back. So talents are honestly a broken and really cool way of adding a massive power creep towards the game. If we're being honest, this skill is like using 4 skills in 1 turn. You think about it, this is basically just a cleanse feature, and I said it in the reveal, but this is a very tame version of it, and you can definitely imagine in future that definitely going to get more probably pay to win, where you have to dupe out a character to affect the talent. We'll have to wait and see. We've seen that of course with the unities already, but also they're going to get probably more and more powerful as we go later into the game, because this is essentially using 4 skills in 1 game. And well, using 4 skills when your opponent can only use 3 is, yeah, very, very broken. Like I did say, this one is very tame. All it does do is remove debuffs based on how many people are participating in battle. But then you can imagine later on, you're going to get some massive debuffs. You can get some transformations, we're going to talk about in a second. And maybe even ways of using actual skills, like applying a stance. And yeah, this icon does mean they're probably likely going to be doing ways of doing like PvE content as well. So yeah, very, very game changing. Now, according to leaks, beta leaks, they apparently the talents are only for 76 members, and also the 4 Knights of the Apocalypse, not characters from 4 Knights, but the 4 Knights themselves. So only Lancelot, Tristan, Gawain, and also Percival will have these, basically the main characters in a way, right? Which is actually very cool, because that means once again they're going to go back and redo every single character from the Sins and also 4 Knights to give them these new talent features, to have an updated version. And since we do know that at the end of the year in December we are going to be getting a new Meliodas, leaks are suggesting it's going to be a new King's Melee. Leaks are suggesting that it's going to be a King Melee, and you can definitely expect him to have one of these talents towards the end of the year. So the way the talents work in game is it does a special animation. For the looks of it, it won't do any damage, because that might be a bit too much, but something you definitely probably can do. I imagine it won't be that hard to code. But the way it looks like is it's going to be either cleansing, buffing up your team, or applying debuffs. I think that's the best way to look at it, and I think that is the best way to go about doing it, because, well, I talked about my last video actually. Okay, so let's go back a little bit. So if you notice, the pattern they've been doing these last few years now is characters aren't releasing with buff skills or even actual support skills like recovery. And the main reason why is because, well, damage is important. When you have characters like Millen, even Lancelot, and Demiurge that can wipe out the whole team with 1 AoE skill, why would you want to waste a skill on healing or obviously, buffing up the team when you can buff up through passives, relics, or even heal through actual AoE skills as well? And we saw that with obviously Percival, where he is basically a healer. He does that buff through his actual using 2 skills, which you can imagine in the past would have been an actual buff skill, and also the healing is through the AoE skill, where once again in the past it would have been an actual recovery skill. And we just go back, non-including Shion, only PvP characters, Millen, single target AoE, Esterosa, single target AoE, Percival, single target AoE. I think Nebero, single target AoE, if I'm not mistaken. Camilla, I think, has like maybe double single target AoE, which is a backline. Demiurge, single target AoE. Jen, I think, is 2 single targets, but again, backline. Boulder being a bit unique, and that's one something again they're doing quite decent with counter characters where they actually are pretty good. But single target. 4 has got 2 single targets, but once again, AoE once you get that 4's judgment. I think Merlin, single target AoE, if I'm not mistaken. Subnak, a rarity a little bit, double AoE. Chandler, double single target AoE, right? Percival, it is double single target. That's kind of why he's bad. Escanor, single target AoE, double AoE damage essentially. You get my point, right? Single target AoE. Every character that comes out nowadays, the only rarity a little bit this year was Goldfar, but his has a rank up, and it's literally the best buff skill in the game. And yeah, you can definitely imagine this talent feature as a way of going back and giving a character 2 skills, most likely single target AoE, because that's just the standard, but also giving them a new talent that can, cleanse. That is literally just a basic tier 1 recovery. It's what King's tier 1 basically. And like I just said, they're probably going to get a bit more experimental as we move in and give some crazy buff skills. Full counter is unironically a ability that we can get on a talent. The reason why I say that because, well, it's been 5.5 years and we've yet to get a full counter SSR Meliodas, one of the most iconic moves from Melee, and I'm hoping because we are going to be getting King Melee at the end of the year, if it is based off the movie and just based off Meliodas himself, he always has a full counter. It's very possible we could get a full counter. But honestly, yeah, if you can imagine, we just have a Meliodas that has a single target AoE, the standard 2 combo moves, but then when he wants to, you can just apply counter. And if it's something like the outburst counter to where you assume a stance, and then when you take damage, you do 1 massive counter depending on how much HP you're missing, that could be really good. Also, once again, AoE skills in the past, the big AoE skills didn't used to deal damage. So something they changed over time to where, yeah, like imagine Arthur's AoE didn't deal damage on a tier 1. You'd have to get to like tier 2 or tier 3. It wouldn't work, right? It wouldn't be good. So what he could do is go back and let's say like a Chandler, for example, or let's say the original demon, to where he can do the talent skill and boom, applies darkness, massive AoE ability that debuffs the team because once again, it's not dealing damage. So it's something they can probably do through the talent system. And it's something like lowering the default stats or maybe even just simply affecting the team. The next one, and I have some high hopes for a little bit, is transforming characters. We've seen the way they handle transform characters nowadays because obviously through the ultimates, it's just an absolute L unless they can just get ultimate to start the match for free. But yeah, Philo is a transforming character. When she does her AoE skill, she transforms into the bird and goes back to normal. The new Eren, once again, has a single target skill where he jumps this guy, transforms, jumps back down. You know, that's their way of doing transforming characters nowadays, and it's been okay. But I'm hoping with this talent feature, they can actually, you know, transform mid-game, basically, just by pressing one button. Maybe it's a cooldown of like 1 or 2 turns, or probably not even, just have it so you can just use it straight away. I spoke about before, but we've seen it in-game already through the final bosses to where after 2 turns, they get that black misty cloud, and then they transform. And you can definitely imagine that being a talent feature to where, yeah, you press it and boom, they transform. Hiding the model through that black misty effect and then getting a new set of skills and a whole different model, basically. That would be so cool. And maybe that's what they're doing to hold out for, let's say, the Ninjas. I know it's been like 5 years now, we haven't gotten them. Maybe that's what they're doing, right? You have normal Derio, which would be cool to see in game. But then, boom, you hit the talent feature. They then get the hearts. You see a cool little animation. Quick, obviously, it can't be too long. And then, boom, just transform the Endurers. Or maybe even draw characters. I think that's something we've all wanted to see in game. I think I was talking to the boys on the podcast about it, but like imagine Escanor and Merlin character, like how we have the actual combo attack a little bit where, yeah, you click a button, boom, Escanor or Merlin just TPs away and Escanor jumps down a little bit. That's the way they can do it. Or I think in the future, we've talked about before where we have a dual character between Elizabeth and also Meliodas, you know, during the final fight of the Demon King, where it does reveal that bloody Elizabeth is a character, to where maybe you want a more support character. You switch into Elizabeth and then you want to do a big DPS turn. You can then switch in towards Meliodas and he all share 1 HP bar. And I do think this is all possible through the new talent feature. So, yeah, I am very much looking forward to the future of these talents. Generally, it adds such a new level of actual playstyle. Definitely some power creep because, yeah, having 4 skills is better than having 3 skills. And like they say, this is definitely probably the tamest version of it. Like they say, you can see in the future, we can get more unique ways of doing it with, you know, debuffing, buffing up, because having a buff skill is just so detrimental in PvP. It's sometimes not worth using because imagine you're the last one alive or you only have buff skills. It's not great. You can't deal damage. And we have gotten leaks or confirmation through the devs themselves posting on the forums that, yeah, Nassians will be the next active character coming towards the game. And he's most likely be having the exact same animations he had during the story mode, and this is one of the more unique characters coming out in a long time, especially probably this year, because he only has 1 attack skill. The only time we've seen someone use 1 attack skill and 2 buff skills through the actual tier 2 and ultimate was what, Blue Grimoire, and it was broken. So they definitely can make good characters with like 1 attack skill. But yeah, are they going to make this guy a PvP character? We'll have to wait and see. I guess chances are he's going to be a PvE character because once again, like I said, using a buff and also buff ultimate in PvP sometimes it just isn't worth doing, because why would I rush ultimate with Nassians when I can rush ultimate with Millen, Lancelot, any decent character come up this year and just win the game? You would have to make this character so broken that he actually is worth using, unless they just literally say, okay, when you use a skill, you just gain like 2 ultimate gain, and you get ultimate within like 1 or 2 turns. That's like the only way they can do it, because yeah, his ultimate shouldn't be treated the same way as like Escanor or Millen rushing ultimate. We just win the game. So we'll see how they handle this character. More likely going to be a PvE character because, yeah, can this work in PvP? Well, we have a king in the future where, yeah, this actual ability is through a talent where you just heal all your whole team and increase your defense stats for 5 turns. 5 turns is crazy, by the way. I know this is obviously PvE, but that'll be a really good way of doing it. And you've already shown that, yeah, there can be cooldowns. There can be like one-time uses even. So yeah, guys, that's probably going to wrap up today's video. Just want to talk a little bit about the talent feature because this is such a massive game-changing way of like changing the game that is, I've not really heard too many people talking about. Maybe because, yeah, this is a very tame version of it. To be honest, sometimes you just use it because why not? You don't even have to actually use it. And I think definitely coming up to this year with new King Melee, we're definitely going to see a more broken, and as we go on through the course of the year, it's definitely going to get more and more a little bit ridiculous as we get like, you know, new Melee. Maybe as a counter skill for it. Then we're going to get pretty like Tristan for the global Annie. I mean, imagine a Tristan that can like transform. He goes to his demon mode and he changes skills. That'd be sick. Gawain, where she just like stand stills and just emits aura, like damaging people or just buffing up the team. That'd be cool as well. Percival, where he just heals by applying his little minions around. We shall see how they handle it. So guys, let me know your opinions and thoughts down below. And yeah.